sort of what is your approach in the classroom? What is the implementation strategy behind how you've done these assignments? Or sort of offer some reflections on like the key experiences that you got from this with these particular students, or the particular classes as you implemented them, and what you learned, and maybe what worked well, what didn't work well, those kind of things from the pedagogical perspective.
Okay. So I would say, like I said before, many of these students are seniors, late juniors and seniors. And so, they're looking to go out into the world. And I think, although it's convenient for me and probably for a lot of other people to keep teaching, kind of traditional academic texts, if part of my job is to create opportunities for them to have better lives after they've spent the semester with me, or more sometimes, I have to be dealing with the realities that they're going to face. And so, what I try to do is I try to get them to look at writing in an academic sense, so something that's familiar, but also writing in relation to speaking, writing in relation to presenting, and writing in relation to multimedia and digital modes of communication. And the truth of the matter is that the varieties of platforms and apps and tools just proliferate so much so fast that it really turns into them training me in what's working well for them, rather than me deciding which technologies should be used. So, for instance, last year when I taught 401B, which is the advanced nonfiction class, they taught me about Canva. And I didn't know anything about it. I was still thinking that, TikTok was new then. So, this semester, some of the students are using something called Google Sites. And so kind of the big picture is, rather than me deciding what's important for them, what I try to do is I try to create experiences for them where they can pull in their knowledge and their preparation into this kind of pool of assets that we all draw on together then. So it's not so much that I'm teaching them how to create a web-based resource via Canva. I'm saying, okay, here are the things that I think are important for you to deal with the subject matter from this class and with the expertise that I have to offer. What do you want to make with it? How do you want to activate that in a way that's meaningful for you, rather than trying to figure out what's going to get me to give you a good grade? And a lot of that comes out of my research on the teaching system at Oxford and Cambridge. It's not information transfer. It's about expertise being deployed in support of the work that the students are trying to do. Now, that doesn't mean that all of the matter comes from the students. There's translation work the faculty members, the tutors work on with the students, research practices, close reading, all kinds of different skills and resources. But it's their expertise being deployed in support of what the students are interested in pursuing, rather than them telling them telling the students what they should care about and what they should. It's much less Borg, right? It's much less, you will be assimilated, resistance is futile. And it's much more, and these are elite institutions too. So by the time they see these students have spent 2 and 3 years of their high school careers focused on the subject matter that they're pursuing as undergrads. So the context is a little bit different. Some students, especially if they're students who are outside of English, who are taking, 321 writing in the professions and disciplines, it's a hoop, It's just a hoop to jump through. And they're like, yeah, that's great. Just tell me what I have to do to get through this. it happens, right? But even those students will say, you know, I just wanted to get this thing done that meet this requirement, but I got to do some things that I think were helpful to me. And, you know, that's as good as it gets as far as I'm concerned, especially with a non-major course required in a different curriculum. So let's see. So my motivation is to provide them with tools, provide them with resources, provide them with support, deploy whatever expertise I have to offer, but do it in a way that allows them to really take on an agentive and self-efficacious role and make decisions about what they want to do and how they want to do it.
Yeah. No, that's, I mean, you're speaking my language. So
I thought I might.
yeah, well, I was just talking about this today with a friend, that this semester I feel more so than the previous semesters, this tension between students who need me to tell them exactly what to do and how to do it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if it's a post-COVID thing. I don't know what's going on. But everything I do in my class operates in the gray, right? They have to,
Yeah.
I'm creating challenges and situations they have to navigate through. They have to problem solve. They have to come up with their own plan. They have to generate their own content. They have to then justify the decisions they've made. And they're working in teams, which don't always work, and it's messy and it's muddy. And I'm excited because I love when it goes well, right? And I like it when it doesn't go well because they're also able to defend what they've done. But I find it way more valuable than me telling you, let's write an essay. Here's how you write an essay. Here are the 5 points you need to make in this essay. Here's the tool, the research you need to do for this essay. Here's how, like, it's a coloring book approach to education, and I want to paint Picasso, right? And
well, and I think what's really important about that is that it's totally alienating, because then it doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's, you know, Lewis, Shelley, or, you know, Sam. It's compliance. It's all about compliance.
Yeah.
Right. And they know that. They're savvy enough to know that.
Right. Which is what's cracking me up, is though when the students are still like, I still don't get it. Can you just tell me what to do? I'm like, nope, I don't even know what you're doing. Like, I don't know what 5 steps you need. I'm not even sure 5's the number that you need. Like, you know, it's so and I'm sure that they have a deep-seated disdain for me at times, because it's learning requires you to change, right? And it's uncomfortable, and it can be frustrating, and sometimes it's less frustrating. Those are exciting. And the things that I'm trying to do are, for me, I'm teaching freshmen this semester. This is part of the problem. Maybe, you know, like they're great, they're wonderful, they're brilliant, but they're also not accustomed yet to dealing with the nonsense that is me. And so when you're talking about creating learning experiences, trying to empower them to be able to make decisions that matter as they move forward, and preparing them for the next step, that stuff is definitely my language, man. So this is great. I like it.
No, I think there's one thing that's really important to mention here too, and that is I want them to take risks. I want to encourage them to take risks and try things, right? And in a normal class setting, there's really no good reason to do that.
Yep.
Right. So I've been using course contracts, and I say, okay, so if you want to get a C in this class, do these 4 things. If you want to get a B in this class, do these 6 things. And if you want to get better than a B, then you need to tell me what you want to get from B to the A you want. And then they create their own projects. They create their own things. And they're much more invested because it's something that they care about rather than something that I'm trying to make them care about. Right. So there's a safety net. They know that they get credit for the work, right? The labor is what they get credit for in the grading contracts. If they want something more, then they have to, you know, step up with some additional work that they want to do and really articulate it. So, I mean, I have them write what I call, you know, course grading contract addenda.
Yeah.
So they have to write an addendum to the course grading contract, specify, here's what I'm going to do. Here's how I'm going to do it. Here's why I'm going to do it. Here's the schedule. Here's the deliverable.
Yeah, that's great.
And for some of them, it takes a few tries to get that, you know? Like I got a couple of proposals this or addendum proposals this semester. It's like, well, I'm thinking about this and I'm thinking about that, and maybe and it's like, no, you're not understanding this. This isn't the place where you discuss options. This is where you tell me what you're going to do.
Yeah.
And we can change it later if we need to, right? And I keep saying to them, I'm invested in your success. I want to create every opportunity I can for you to succeed in this class and get something useful out of it. But there are some basics that you have to do. You have to be here. That's been a big one this semester. A lot of absences.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a post-COVID thing, but I asked the students, I said, is it just this class, or is it other? And they're like, no, it's like this in all of our classes now. Or or on midterm, I had less than half of my class show up. I've never had that experience before, no matter how much they hated it.
Man, I'm so glad this has happened across the US, because we're having the same tensions here. I've been in meetings all day long where this is a common theme about for some odd reason we have more than our usual amount who have excessive absences. We've had a higher percentage that have just the normal amount of absences. And I have a smaller percentage who have perfect attendance this semester, even though it's completely incentivized for them to come to class, and they get points every day in class for being and engaging in the active activities. So I just assume it's the year. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Well, and I promised them at the beginning of the semester, it's like, look, I promise you that if we don't have a reason together, we won't meet. If we don't have a reason to be there, I'm not going to make you be there. But the other side of that is, if you know that I'm going to make sure that we have something to do together that we need to do together in class, you're there to do it.
Yeah, that's it. Really,
that's the deal.